everybody. This is Martin John, and we are here to talk about the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written about 600 BC, 6th century BC. And I'm just trying to figure out if I am on. Yes, I am on the correct Wi-Fi. Thank you guys for joining me. This is such a joy for me. I love the Tao. I love everything that it presents and everything that it expresses. And I love expressing about it. And so for this show, if you haven't joined me before, is Tao of the Day. And I invite you up to pick a number between 1 and 81 to get your Tao for the day. The Tao Te Ching consists of 81 forms of different sorts of enigmatic wisdom. And it uses riddle to get us to think about the text that it's presenting us. So it doesn't give us answers, it gives us questions more than anything. It gives us questions that we can ask ourselves about how we conduct ourselves, how we live our lives, how we are in the world, how we treat others. And it's always pointing back to us. You know, the Tao says, life is a gift received from Tao. And if you can receive that gift, then everything will fall into place. Actually, I would love to look at that verse while we're waiting on folks to... so it's 51 is entitled The Cycle. Life is a gift received from Tao. It sustains all things as part of that gift. Everything emerges perfect, unconscious, and free, harmonizing with all things, completely maturing in its own time. Let's just stop there for a moment. There's only one other part, but let's just stop there and really, really kind of soak in this. Like, I like to think of it as a riddle, you know? So what does that mean to you? Life is a gift received from Tao. It sustains all things as part of that gift. Let's pause there. So life is a gift, and it sustains all things as part of that gift. You were born, and although we have the experience that people were here before us, we have all the history books that tell us that people were here before us. We have people giving us stories about what happened before we were here. Life is a gift received from Tao. This life that you have is a gift separate from everything else received from Tao. You existed in everything that is around you. Everything is sustained as part of that gift. So your parents are being sustained as part of that gift. Your friends are being sustained as part of that gift. All of the animals and trees and plants and everything, all of those things are being sustained as part of the gift of your life. Now, you are also being sustained as part of the gift of my life and the gift of all of the other lives that are around you. But your life is specific. Your life is a gift that you received. This is a subjective experience. And when we take that subjective experience and move forward with it, we start to realize, well, this is my experience. This isn't something happening. This is my experience. So if we look out at the world and we say that is happening, well, we're already out of harmony, because the reality is this is my experience. That's not happening. I'm having the experience of this happening. And so when we can bring it back to ourselves, we can realize that this is a gift for me. This is part of my gift. Can I see this properly? Can I understand what's happening around me? And yes, my life is a gift. And you can look at your gift. How many times have you guys gotten gifts and you're like, didn't want it? I did not want it. I do not like this gift. But it turns out to be something that you absolutely needed. Now, maybe you regifted it, and that was why you needed it. But maybe you gave it to, the Goodwill, and that's why you needed it. But it's sustaining. So then everything emerges perfect, unconscious, free. This is how you emerged. You emerged perfect, unconscious, free, and the life that you're here to lead and everything that's going to happen within it is being sustained by Tao to get you to a certain place. This is like when we want to really look at the whole we'll see scenario. When it's like, oh, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good. And we start judging all of those things. And then it's just like, wait, we'll see. We'll see where it is. Everything emerges perfect, unconscious, free, as you did. Now, now I understand that you guys believe that, like lots of people, like we have definitions of the word perfection. Let's not engage those definitions of perfection. Perfection is often something in our world that we see as not achievable, but perfect is something that all things are achieving at any moment. Now, when you say you got a perfect score, well, what's wrong with 1? That score is just as perfect as 100, right? The number, it's percentage, whatever it is, it's just as perfect as anything else. You got all the answers correct. That's a different thing. You guys, you got all the answers correct as I wanted you to answer them. Because trust me, in the 1950s, when they were answering questions and they got 100%, if you were to grade them today, you probably wouldn't get 100%. But in 1952, all of those were correct, right? All of the answers about science and everything in 1952 they got 100%. They got a perfect score. But if you were to judge them from the information that we know today, many of those answers would have been wrong. So it's really kind of crazy that we sit here and tell people, you got a perfect score. Well, you got a perfect score for now. Right? Your life is great for now. Like, whatever. Things are going to change. Things are always going to change. And that's the thing. You exist. And that experience that you had of getting 100% is more important than the actual answers being correct, right? Because your experience of that, especially when judged by today, was wrong. We don't really talk about that. We don't really talk about the fact that there are people who probably got graduate degrees based on assumptions that they made and observations they made that have been debunked since. No one's going back and removing their degree, and they're continuing to gain privilege because of those degrees. So this is why it's like, hey, we have to accept things as they are in this moment as I'm experiencing them. That's why we look at my experience, not the facts or the truth. Those things are, there is an objective truth. But that's going to be arrived at through your subjective experience. So life is a gift received from Tao. It sustains, so Tao sustains all things as part of that gift. Everything emerges perfect, unconscious, and free, harmonizing with all things. So you harmonize with those things around you. You harmonize and you do the things that you need to do in the space that you're doing it. And that's going to bring you closer to yourself, completely maturing in its own time. Completely maturing in its own time. Such a nice way of putting, like, you know what? You don't have to be anywhere. You're going to mature as you need to. How many people have passed away over time, and in their passing, they finally get to mature? Because they're not holding on to anything anymore. Hey, Cece, how you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Doing very well.
Awesome. I loved it. Was that number 53 you were reading?
51.
51. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I just resonated so much with that one because I'm heading to the east coast of Florida today, taking the train for a couple of days. And I was there last year around July. And I was just thinking about the place that I was in last year, right? Which wasn't the place that I'm in now, of course.
Right.
And how, that experience was something, and this one is going to be something, something
That's
different.
right.
And
yesterday we were talking about a verse that said, like, although a scientist observes, he does so for the first time every time.
right.
And, and that's really what we want to do. Like, when you go to your destination today, even if you've been there before, you want this to be the first time you go there.
Yes. So,
because this is the first time you, as you are today, have been there.
Yes. And I have to say a better place,
Yeah.
So it's going to be an even better experience.
Isn't it great? Like, it just keeps getting better.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like it doesn't, when you make the effort, when you make the decision that you're going to move forward, it just keeps getting better. Yes, it also means that we become increasingly aware of the subtle things that maybe we don't like or whatever, but then we correct those, just like it says in the Tao. The master corrects her errors to the best of her ability.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So beautiful.
I love that one. Oh, I love them all, of course.
Yeah, they're so good.
Yeah. I would like a random number, please.
Oh, yeah. I'll pick a random number. I'm going to click it now. Number 50. Oh, wow. We just did 51, and your random number is 50. And it's entitled Awareness of Death. And what you just mentioned, the idea that you're not the same person you were last year, is awareness of death.
Yeah.
Because, like, the person that you are today is not the person you were then.
Great.
Every being is entrusted with life for a time. However, it's only a prelude to death. Some live as optimists, embracing life. Others live as pessimists, embracing death. Some even live in preservation, passively living, advancing towards death. The master...
Sorry. And I remember, being in all of those places.
Yeah. And then it continues. The master lives aware of her appointment with death. This brings her to real life. This brings her to knowing real life. She cannot be harmed by rhinoceros or man. Her movements flow from her being. She cannot be fooled by illusion or hallucination. Her actions flow from her being. She has freed herself of all separateness, even the distinction between life and death. That embodies so much of your journey.
Yeah.
This idea, aware of her appointment with death. Like, you went to your mom's place and dealt with all of the things. And you did that too sweet. You did that quick. Maybe not as quick as everyone around you wanted you to, but who cares? Right. From my perspective, I was surprised that it just got done so fast.
Yeah, and it didn't feel quick to me.
Right. Of course not. And it probably felt difficult where it was supposed to feel difficult, and it probably certain areas probably felt easier than you thought and quicker than you thought that they would.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And this is what brings you to knowing real life, and that's what you're doing. You're just living. You're being in a way that many people can't, because you've had to step through those doors. And I'm just even getting emotional thinking about your journey.
Yeah.
And I love how this one continues, and it's she cannot be harmed by rhinoceros or man. That's your fearlessness.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think, when I'm, and I've heard this of people that find religion, right? That they're like, wow, I feel really great. This is going so well. Am I going to die now? I'm in a good place. So is it going to get even better with that? And I'm like, wait, I'm not done with this earthly adventure.
No, and and that's where this kind of goes to, where it's like, she cannot be harmed by her movements flow from her being. Just your being. All of the movements flow from your being, even those thoughts. I mean, if you have those thoughts.
Yeah.
She cannot be fooled by illusion or hallucination. Her actions flow from her being. Mm-hmm. Illusion and hallucination are the manifestation.
Right.
That which you are living is truth. And it's coming through you. It's flowing from you. And then you have that, you talk about other people having that idea of like, well, if it gets this good, am I going to die? Mm-hmm. And then that's where this last line comes in, which it says, she has freed herself of all separation. Mm. Even the distinction between life and death.
Right.
And how heavy is that? Mm-hmm. Like, this is like, no, this is my experience, and death will be added to this experience.
Yes, well, it is part of the experience. Actually,
absolutely.
I saw a post on Facebook yesterday, and it said, what if once you die, once you make your transition, what if God said, so how is heaven?
Yeah.
So, we can be experiencing that now,
That's right.
It's heaven on earth.
And there is no, not to have a distinction between it. Like if you focus on hell, this experience will be hell, and that's okay. Yeah. That's like, I support you in experiencing that. I had to experience that, and I had to experience that so I can recognize how amazing my life could be.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that is all. Like I said, I remember experiencing. What was it? The three that you said. Memory already. But anyway, I remember being in all of those different places.
Optimism, pessimism,
yes,
and preservation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, being all those places at all different times of my life. And
And now you just be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let it flow.
Yeah, and all of those things could be a part of it if you wanted to define it. Mm-hmm. But not defining it. You just get to be it. Mm-hmm. There were times in my life I was all three of those. And so like I was a pessimist and everything was horrible, and then I was an optimist and I was thinking positively and all of that. And then there were points where I was living in preservation, trying to not rock the boat. And then now it's just more like being. Mm-hmm. I don't have to take a stand as to how to live or how to experience this.
Yeah, just experience it.
Yeah, I can't. There's nothing else to do. Just have this experience as it is. Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful.
For me, I was just thinking like enjoy it all, no matter what you think.
No matter what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like there's a line in the Tao that says, receptive to both profit and loss. It's like, oh yeah, just like be here ready to receive what is and learn and grow from whatever that is. It is all contributing.
That's right.
There's nothing, it's like, yes, in the terminology, it's profit and loss, but that's profit and loss in the manifestation. In Tao, it is your experience, and that experience is only contributing and only gaining and only love.
Yes.
No matter how difficult you define it, no matter how much you resist it, you just step into it.
No matter how you think it should look like.
Right. And that's where that line, she cannot be harmed by rhinoceros or man. Because you're not stepping into this with an expectation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
love it. Beautiful.
beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'll send you that when we're all done. And
Sounds great.
Yeah, you can sit with it. Have a wonderful trip to the East Coast, and I'll hold you close.
Thank you. Be well.
Always do.
Thanks,
you as
everyone.
well. Bye-bye. Okay. Oh, thank you, Cece. So we're going to go dip back into 51. So that was 50. So out of a random number, we picked 50, awareness of death. And then we move into the cycle. So like if we're looking at this linearly, 50 to 51, where we become aware of death. We cannot be harmed by rhinoceros or man. The master's freed herself of all separation, even the distinction between life and death, and then we enter the cycle. Number 51. Life is a gift received from Tao. So there's no distinction between life and death. That's where we end from 50. Then life is a gift received from Tao. It sustains all things as part of that gift. Oh, Julie's going to join me. So awesome. My buddies.
And that was a very warm welcome. Thank you so much.
What's that? For what? What did I do?
A lovely warm welcome from you.
Oh, thank you. Of course. I should tell you, as I wrote your name down, I wrote the word July.
Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Let's do July. I need it. Wishful thinking. Hooray.
Because I got to take notes so I know where to send the numbers and what numbers we read and stuff like that. Because I can lose track. And I wrote your name down, and it was July. I was like, that doesn't look right.
Nah, leave it. It's great. It's great. Wonderful. Who wouldn't want to be July?
I know. What a nice name.
How are you?
What's going on? I'm doing well. Life is easy. I'm telling you. It just keeps getting easier. Jeez, I don't know. I don't know. I was like, this is going to be going right back to this is nothing. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I was like, the first half of my life is going to be difficult. The second half is going to be easy. And I just kind of like put that in the world. And so I at least know that I'm not going to, like, because I'm 49 now. So I'm not going to make it to, 98. Like, because my halfway point has passed already. So it seems like I'm going to make it to my 90s if my halfway point was about 4 years ago. I'm going to make it by 91, 92. Then I'm going to go.
That's pretty cool. I think I'm going to get like about 100 and something at this rate.
Yeah. Well, see, I remember as a kid, like, thinking, like, the first half of my life is going to be shit. And the second half of my life is going to be really good. So try and pay attention to where that is, and I will know how long I'm going to live. And now I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to make it to 92, but I'm going to make it pretty old. I think because my halfway point has passed a couple years ago. So, like, everything has been just becoming easier. And I really kind of denote that dark retreat as kind of a turning point.
That was interesting, wasn't it? I enjoyed that. I'm glad you kind of shared that with us as well. Yeah. So, I'm at my daughter's house down south now, the one with Lily in it, and my granddaughter, and we are only here for a little while. But tonight we're going to a kind of a bonfire night here at Lewes, and it's very historically done as the place where Guy Fawkes retreated to after creating plans to overthrow.
Remember the 5th of November.
So we go to a place called Lewes, which is Lewes. Okay. And if you wanted to look it up, you could see the fire festival that they do there. It's absolutely amazing. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing that tonight and getting some cracking photographs of it.
Oh, that'll be great.
They burn effigies, and the effigies are all political. It's all exciting stuff.
Oh, and that's going to be happening at the same time tonight when we're voting for, the next president of this damn country.
that's going to be exciting. I'll definitely get you pictures across if I see any contenders for president of the USA. I'll let you know. It has been foreign politicians have been the focus of previous ones, so this could be quite exciting.
Oh yeah, how could you not have a Trump effigy?
I agree. So we'll see. I'll see.
It'd be so good. Yeah. And like Kamala might be up there as well.
It's good though. These effigies, these like creations that they make, they're absolutely phenomenal to look at, and they're huge. And they do like a parade through the high street. So I'm kind of excited to go. My daughter's got to drop me off because the whole town is shut off. They do not want outsiders in, so you have to get there at a certain time and then walk quite a long way. So I'll be getting my steps in, people. And then get into the town to see all sorts of things. I'll fill you in on it later. So it's kind of exciting. It's an exciting.
See, I'm just trying to see. We should. I don't know. Not should, but it would be fun.
Maybe we could.
Yeah, maybe we could. Wait, at some, not this year, but like have a vote of like who you think would be who you think what effigies you would think are going to be made. One of the great things about stuff like this is when like the arts just get into the hands of everybody.
Yeah.
I really, as an artist, really am always discouraged by the world, like the art world, because we tell people that crafts isn't high art. We tell people that, artists are on a certain level. And this is why I'm always talking about the death of art. Like this, we are on, like it might take 1,000 years still for art to like trickle out of our consciousness, but art is living. Art is everything. Like why art has been taken and put on some sort of a pedestal as someone who had a 20-year art career has always confused me.
Yeah.
And it's always, and I use my artwork not to be seen by everybody, but the portraits that I make of my clients are to be seen by them and to be used as an energetic focus so that people can grow and people can see how judgmental they are of themselves. And it's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah. That's a reciprocal expression. Mm-hmm. And an expression to self through art.
And stuff. It shows people that when you look at art, you're not seeing what the artist painted. You're seeing what you're seeing. The artist just like when the Tao talks about say what is to be said, it's not yours anyway. Paint what is to be painted, but don't try and dictate what people are seeing in it.
That's right. Yeah.
Because they're going to see themselves, and you're painting this so that you can have an experience with this medium.
Yeah.
And that's it. And if you're trying to make it to profit, if you're trying to make it to do something, that's great. Do that because that's what you're inspired to do. But recognize that this is still like you're doing it for you.
Yeah.
And people are going to look at it for them. And when you do it from a good, healthy place, people are going to be able to look at it and receive it because it's not filled with a whole bunch of your garbage that you're trying to put out in the world. It's you. And that's what I love about this mosaic and the artist that I'm working with for this mosaic. He's very much in touch with himself and it is a process that he goes through. So I'm grateful for it all.
Where do the plates go? They go in the cupboard at the top. Perhaps just unloading Jaleesa's dishwasher. She's out at the moment. I don't know where she is. I think she might be working. So we're kind of sprucing the place for her. Because it's nice. She'll come in and she'll feel good. She'll go, oh, what's tidy. That looks pleasing. She might. But
she
then,
might, right? Don't have your expectations, because if she doesn't mention, if she doesn't even recognize that happened, then you don't want to be a little bitch later on. We did all this stuff, and you didn't.
Yeah. The other thing is obviously if you're tidying up certain things, there'll be something you didn't do. So maybe intentional the thing I didn't do, which is fine.
Like when this is like when the Tao talks about, like, the kind person, right? When the kind man does, and in so doing reveals all that remains undone. Good for you guys.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of fun, and it's just do what you are inspired to do.
That's
Don't expect anything.
That's
just
right.
Do
like
it
there's nothing there.
And then it's done. It's lovely. So, yeah, I thought I would pop up and say hello, and your welcome when I first came on here was delightful. Thank you so much for that. That was lovely. That was just so well received, Martin John. It really was. So thank you. I am in process of not knowing what tomorrow brings. It's interesting. And I'm calm, which is nice.
Good.
Yeah. Yep.
So what do you mean by that? You don't know what tomorrow brings?
Tomorrow I'll probably be here, but you never know, do you? And then the next day, where am I going to be? I don't know. I just do not know where I'm going to be for quite a long time. It's interesting.
So you currently don't have a pet set schedule?
That's right. You're on the money.
Okay.
Now we can try, but this pet sitting service seems to have expanded to large proportions, and now there are many, many pet sitters and not quite so many people holidaying, because it's the time of year now where people are starting to
hunker down for the holidays.
Yes, and that takes money and expense, and I can't holiday now. I'm saving up to buy Mrs. Miggins a present that she doesn't even want.
Well, and in this whole thing about, here in the United States, as we're going into this election and all this stuff, and we don't have to talk about.
I know, I love it. I love it because I'm not involved.
Yeah, it's good. But what it's bringing to light is that this country and the Western world in general have put too much emphasis on money.
Yes.
Have put way too much emphasis on money and making money and being, money grubbing and whatever. A product, yeah.
Yes.
And everybody is looking for an easy way to do that. And Airbnb was a thing people did for a while. Pet sitting is Airbnb the opposite. So instead of having so Airbnb was like, you have to have the privilege of being able to afford a home to offer it to people who are traveling. Now, there are more and more and more people that are opting out of the home market and are outpriced for the rental market, and are trying to, balance things out while, either making money or at least not spending money for property, for a bed. And because of that, it is attracting more and more and more people.
So now I have to be inspired in another direction. And I'm going to be
you're going to have to, because some of those people are going to be shit. Because they don't want to actually do it, but they see it as an escape. They see it as an escape from what they're trying to, and they might go and they might be shit. And then all of your good reviews and all that are going to be the thing. And you just keep at it. You just keep plugging away.
Yeah, that's right. And then have a look at what else is going on as well. There's things. Yeah.
People are going to ask you back because you're good at what you do and they like you. You've already been asked back.
Yeah, a couple of times, which is lovely.
Yeah. But it is going to cause, and don't forget, we look at it from our experience. You know, it's not about other people signing up. It's about you being maybe crowded out. Like, let's look at the orphanage. Let's look at, like, your family. Let's look at your house. Like, let's look at all of the things that make you have this specific experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Even the builders next door are agreeing.
I heard that.
Did you hear them? Did you hear them?
I did. I said, yeah, exactly.
So good, isn't it? So good. But yeah, it's interesting, and I will keep you updated. Wherever I get Wi-Fi, I will pop up and say hello and share with you, Martin John, because
you want to pick a number now.
Oh, go on then. Let's have number 73.
Nothing falls through. There are men who love feeling, and to feel they kill. There are men who love feeling, and to do so they remain calm. Who's to say which will experience more turmoil? There is purpose in walking with death as there is in walking with life. The inner workings of Tao can never be understood. It makes no commands, yet all things come on their own accord. It never acts, but all things act on its behalf. It is empty, yet within it lays all things and their master plans. Tao is a net holding all things together, connected. Its mesh is wide, but it holds so well nothing falls through. Hey, Mark, I'm going to have to switch you out. I thought you were Julie coming back up, and she picked this number. We're going to talk about that, and then I'm going to get to you. Is that cool? Oh, I guess it is. I don't know if you planned on joining me. I just wanted to get Julie up because I was reading that. And I blindly brought up the person who was in the queue thinking it was Julie. And as I pressed the button, I was like, oh, it's Mark. I would love to talk to you, Mark. But
just hold on in there. We won't be long, Mark, because I'd like to hear you as well.
Yeah. Tao is a net holding all things together. Its mesh is wide, but nothing falls through. That was something that it came to mind earlier, I think, when I was talking to you, and that idea of, like, there is fear, you know, within the experience of not knowing what's ahead. You know, there is. And I mean, I can feel it. And I don't know if I'm just making this up, but I can feel it in some of your words where it's just like, yeah, I might be here, I might not, and all of that's fine, but it's there. And recognizing that it's there is so much more healthy than pushing it away.
Yeah, right? I agree with that, yes. And I think these things are all part of the same thing. I think they're useful, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about death, Martin John, I've been thinking about that over the last couple of days. That's an interesting one, that. Because I'm not one that wants to get there in any hurry. But it has been coming across in conversations with people quite a lot. That's kind of interesting.
Well, you have surrounded yourself with death for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
You have a special relationship with death. Similarly, I have a special relationship with darkness.
Yes.
You know, and death is more than just the physical thing, but you've had a physical relationship with the physical death for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And my guess is that you, in your childhood, you had certain relationships with death as well that are maybe didn't even seem really pivotal, but you probably remember and are with you and are part of your body and your body, and your bodily experience of things.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that. I'd say it'd be very deep as well, to be honest with you. but it's accepted along with fear. It's all accepted as being part of the experience of it all.
Yeah.
And again, useful. It's useful to be able to sit with it sometimes and just, accept it. All of these things, it's it's a comfortable space for a while. It is. And as we all know, these moments move and kind of spread and get thin, and all of these things are all kind of occurring in the same moment. Yeah. I get to sit with maybe being fearful about tomorrow, and also at the same time being calm about tomorrow and saying, I'm not in tomorrow yet. And when I get there, I'll know what to do. I'll know what to do. I'll know the path to take. I'll know the experience when I come across it, and I'll accept it for, as part of the bigger thing.
Yeah.
So it's all right. It's okay. What a fantastic verse, though, that Tao is a net and it catches it all. It does. It really does.
Yeah, and you're here being held.
I am.
And that's the one thing that, like from Tao, this idea that it holds all things, it's the one thing I remind people of, I think, the most, is the thing that, you're being held. Like, I'll just send text to people sometimes and just be like, hey, hope you're doing well. Just want to remind you you're being held. And I think a lot of people say, oh, he's holding me. And I'm like, yeah, sure.
If you like.
No, you're being but I'm like, no. Like, I don't ever correct anybody because how they experience it is for them. The idea is that you are being held.
Yeah, I see that as being held by life at this moment. That's what I see, like, in my imagination, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
I see a huge, soft, comforting life hand that is allowing me experience, and it's holding me. Yeah. One day the fingers will kind of spread a little bit and I'll slip through, and that's fine too. Much love to you, Martin John. I'm going to let the lovely man Mark come up and chat to you now.
Well, he disappeared, but Shelley's in line, so we'll talk to Shelley.
Okay. Take care, my love. Speak to you soon.
Yep. Have fun tonight at the bonfire.
I will send you some pictures of the effigies. The effigies. Yeah. Even an exciting word, isn't it?
It is.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. I am going to bring, let's see, keep, and we're going to bring, so Mark was on earlier, and and so like I'm bringing Mark up now. If you can hang out, that'd be great. Hey, Mark, what's going on, man?
I come on late, so I love listening to you. You're good. I love listening to Julie, and I just caught a little bit, and I wanted to just ask you a question that was on my mind, and it might not be that related to the Tao, but what you and I always know, everything's related to the Tao.
Yeah, there's nothing outside.
So I have this thing I've thought about a lot. Everybody's thought about this. Jung talks about it as synchronicities. And other people talk about it, and this is written about a lot, called attractors, right? Mm-hmm. So these things that happen, and your mind is telling you this has to be for a reason, right? And it's like, I've heard people describe it as like the universe winking at you or God winking at you. And my good friend told me over 20 years ago that she understood this to be, through her studies, that it's God giving you these little synchronicities or these little unique things to motivate you to keep going for the spiritual or the, what I'd say is Tao type stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like a thing. So anyway, I just wanted to ask you your interpretation of Jung's synchronicities, which to me are identical to this attractor thing. So if you're in a particular frame of mind, things happen or things you pay attention to are like positive triggers, like to motivate you. So you know what I'm talking about. I just wondered what you thought about in terms of Tao.
Yeah. So triggers are trigger. So whether it's a negative trigger or a positive trigger, if you're feeling something, that's because you are having, you already are aligned with it in one way or another.
Sure.
As synchronicities go, as Jung describes it, I would try and see. One of the problems with looking at things from this nature is we look at it. So Jung was looking outside of himself, like, so that he could understand the world. And he did. And he was guided by Tao to have subjective experiences that led him to objective truths. So there is a truth behind the idea of synchronicities and things like that. However, we can't speculate or create an experience unless we have the experience. So by having the experience, we can go into that and find truth, try and find things that are true. But we need speculating is what you and I are doing now.
Exactly.
Right. Is really futile.
Yes.
Because of the fact that you're having a synchronicitous experience, and that is coming from your subjective experience, because you're subjectively having.
This is exactly what I was looking for.
You're subjectively having a synchronicity, a synchronicitous experience. And so I need to understand, if I were to talk about it, I would need to understand everything that surrounds that synchronicitous experience and why is it this is coming. Is that, is it God or Tao or whatever? No, it's you, and you are Tao, and it's really important that we continue to remind ourselves that this isn't happening. This is what I'm experiencing.
I love this. This is fantastic. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I will add one thing, because people always like tragedies. So I'm bipolar, and I've had what they call manic episodes.
You have a diagnosis of bipolar disorder.
Exactly. And I've had it since 1996. So it's, I'm old. I'm 57. I've had it since 1996. And what happens with bipolar, and anybody can study this, it just takes a few seconds. What happens with bipolar people having a manic episode, and some people say manic means psychotic, but that isn't true, because there's some parts of manic episode where you're perfectly lucid. In fact, maybe more lucid than ever. And then there's other parts where you're clearly psychotic. Anyway, one characteristic of this is called this loose association thing, right? So you listen to a person that has uncontrolled speech and they're going really fast and they have all these loose associations. What a loose association would be is, here's a crystal clear example, I think. So you're looking out in the yard and you see a pole that's in your yard, and you go pole, like two different spellings. One is P-O-L-E and one is, I guess it's the same spelling, depending, P-O-L-E, and you're thinking of a Polish person, right? That's a loose association. That pole has nothing to do with the Polish person, except to you. You're having the subjective experience, right?
Right.
So my point is like people have said, oh, Mark, he's psychotic. He's got these loose associations. And I'm like, no, they're only loose to you. They're very tight to me. Do you understand how important this point is to your point about you're having a subjective experience. So it's a synchronicity to you, right? It might not be a synchronicity to anybody else.
Right.
They don't know the pole from the pole. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so it's important that we can't speculate. And
yes.
that's what happens, in all debate, where it's like, well, what if? Yes. Well, don't throw your what if at me. Give me something that is happening, and give me access to the person who it's happening to. And we can probably find the truth behind it if they're willing to see truth, because you would need that. You would need someone who would be willing to suspend the manifestation for the truth. And people prefer manifestation.
I love this. I told you I'm working on this book, and it's a complex book, but in other ways it's very simple. It's Tao stuff and other stuff. Anyway, one of the key parts I got to is this Trinity idea, right? Just bear with me for a second and think of like the Holy Trinity of Christianity and stuff. That's great. Well, this is another Trinity, and it's relevant to this conversation. So I'm having a subjective experience, right? So that's I am. So one corner of the triangle of the Trinity is me, I'm having a subjective experience. But since I've had these psychotic breaks, I realize I can't trust myself. So I need to talk to Martin John. He's having a subjective experience. And we're going to communicate, and to the extent that we can nod our heads and say, yeah, I get that, then my subjective experience is resonating with his subjective experience, and we kind of feel like maybe there's something beyond our subjective experience this is like objective stuff here, right? This is kind of true because we can nod our heads. Anyway, that's the third part of the triangle, and I'll just say it real quick. The third part of the triangle to me is this philosophical idea. You can look it up and read about it. I have. Called the good, the beautiful, and the true. Now, nobody knows what any of that stuff means, but we kind of know what it means. And we kind of think of it as objectively, which is impossible, right? Objective definitions of good, objective definitions of beautiful, objective definitions of true. So I like this Trinity idea, my subjective experience, Martin John's subjective experience, and then this weird notion of philosophical good, beautiful, and true. And the three of those together are like, I'm pretty sure that's true. And that gets back to the doubt. I don't know if you tracked all that, but I think you probably did.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would, there are things where we can get into things, but no, I agree.
All right, I think I've shared enough. This is great.
All right. I'm gonna switch over to Shelley. We're gonna pick a number, and then we're gonna work out that. I appreciate you coming up, and we'll be in touch. And thank you again for coming to the workshop and everything that you do to support me out here and out in the world. So looking forward to chatting with Shelley. Shelley, how are you doing? You with me?
I had, can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. There you are. Okay.
I had left the app I could still hear you, but I had left the page to look something up, and I guess it, plus I wasn't sure my voice was going to work. It does. It works. Yay.
Look at you. Here we are. Okay. Let's, it's nice to have you here.
Yeah. I called mostly to give you an update on my tattoo.
Yeah. Tell me.
And tell you what I went with. So, I had a lot of trouble for a while. I thought, I don't know, do I want it up there on my arm? It's more visible. Is it going to clash with my outfit? Because I'm kind of OCD and
a little fashionista.
And then I couldn't decide on the words what I wanted to put underneath it. And I think I mentioned that some of it had to do with meditating at this park in Queens and thinking that I was somewhere I'd never been before, which led me to kind of think about when I was meditating that I'm going somewhere I've never been. So, how's it going to be easy? You're going somewhere you've never been, but it's a good destination. And so I thought about just putting that, right? I'm going somewhere I've never been. But, and then I thought about the lines from the Nina Simone song, It's New Life for Me, and I'm feeling good. But I ended up putting this quote from, it comes from the Bell Hooks book, All About Love. Mm-hmm. And it's the start of the chapter on redemptive love. And the end of the quote is, for suffering comes to an end, but love is forever. And so that's what I ended up putting. And
wow.
Actually, I think she left off the word for. I think we just started with the S, the capital S, suffering comes to an end, but love is forever. And those are not my words. Those are a Mother Abbess who's of a Carmelite society in Nova Scotia in Ireland named Tessa Bilecki.
Okay.
Not sure I'm saying that right.
Well, the Carmelites, they've done a lot in the world.
Yeah, and she apparently, Tessa studies, she does a lot of work or writes about the intersection of Buddhism and Christianity, I think. I want to
Yeah.
check. I signed up for some newsletters and stuff. But anyway, I like that quote in the chapter, which I thought we could do number 12, I guess. I got listed.
I just like, well, whatever. It's just like, oh, this is a number, whatever. It's like the senses is number 12.
Okay, yeah. So the chapter is called Healing, Redemptive Love, and that's a great book. All About Love is really a good book. And but anyway, so yeah, I got the tattoo on Sunday. I ended up getting it at a tattoo convention, and it was kind of fun. It was
nice.
It was
and where did you get it?
Weird. And it was a tattoo convention.
No, on your body, love.
Oh, on my arm.
On your arm. It was on your arm. Okay.
Right arm. And it was, I already had the appointment. She's a woman who tattooed my daughter and I. We got matching tattoos about two and a half years ago.
Yeah, you
mentioned. But it was at this Otaka anime convention, which is not a world I know anything about. And so it was interesting, and it made it a little more fun. Everybody was dressed up and stuff like that. And so yeah, that's what's been going on with me.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, I'm so glad you got it, and you got something that you're embracing, and it's visible. I think it should be visible, especially that message. Like because it does show that you've been there and back again. Like. And number 12.
Suffering is but to me, it's kind of about choosing love. Suffering is temporary and
suffering really, I look at suffering from the aspect of Tao, at least. I look at suffering as being like, well, that's a part of yourself that requires more love.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like we're suffering because we have expectation. We're suffering because we want. We're suffering because of desire. We're suffering from all of this thing. And then eventually, when we're kind of open up to receive, we realize we have everything we need and everything is here. And we're being held, as we were talking about with Julie earlier. Yeah. And this number 12, the senses, does speak to that, which is colors blind the eyes of men, sounds deafen the ears of men, flavors dull the tongues of men, thoughts will lead a mind to turmoil, desires and greed will lead a life to turmoil. Therefore, the master satisfies her inner vision, allowing external cravings to come and go.
Wow. Oh, that seems kind of spot on.
Yeah.
Like
I
have a book now, so I can read it.
I'm so glad. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And that's like this one where it's like we're talking about the manifestation blinds us to what's happening within us. We've been talking all day today about the experience that we're having versus the manifested particulars. We were talking, you have a particular experience in the world, and you could think that that's what's happening. If you look outside of yourself, this is what's happening around me, and this is what upsets me. However, if I look internally and I say, my experience of this isn't someone else trespassing against me. It's something very specific with me. I'm feeling trespassed against in a specific way that they might not be trying to accomplish. They might not be trying to accomplish me feeling inadequate. They may be trying to accomplish them feeling adequate.
It has nothing to do with me.
That has nothing to do with me. But what I'm feeling, and this is why colors blind our eyes, sounds deafen our ears, and flavors numb our tongues, because we're looking out in the world and we're not seeing ourselves in the experience. We're seeing ourselves as victims to the experience.
Right.
Thoughts will lead a mind to turmoil. Desires and greed will lead a life to turmoil. Oh.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
So
in the book, I haven't looked back at the directions. On the left side of the page, and tell me about the left side of the page and the right side of the page in your book, please.
Oh, I don't know what you mean. Is there a difference?
Well, yeah, the number is on the right side of the page.
Not always. No. The number is simply on a page where there is a new verse. So the number is going to be there. And then sometimes the verse goes 2 pages, and so you will not have a page.
Gotcha.
You will not, yeah. So if you're looking for number 12, there are no page numbers. It's only 12. So there's no confusion there. And if underneath on the right side of the page, on the bottom of the page, you may see a thin arrow going across the page from like the middle of the page. That arrow just means it continues.
Okay.
Yeah. So that arrow is just like, nope, you're not done yet. Keep going. So you will not see that on the left side of the page, because if you have that open, it will be obvious. Like there's no title, there's no number on the right hand page, and so you would continue reading.
Clearly, I need to just sit down and
it's just designed. Yeah, it's just designed that way. It's designed to be. I love the book. It's hopefully be intuitive to people. Like, oh, there's an arrow. What does that mean? Turn the page. You figure it out. Yeah. If there is no number, that means that if there's no number on a page, that means it's a continuation. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
At first, I thought maybe it was your interpretation versus the. Of course, I know it's not the original, because the original is.
In ancient Chinese, yeah. No, you're not going to read that. Right?
No, but well, thanks. It was great. I got on late today because I get to work from home today. So
well, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, but this
you can make an extra cup of coffee.
Exactly. Eat something good. Have a great day.
Yeah, have a little snack.
Well, thank you. It was good to
absolutely. It's always beautiful to catch up, and I'm glad that I know about your tattoo and that you got it. Oh. That's so good.
Some good conversations. I wish I'd got on earlier, but I like what Mark was saying about the 3 things, the Trinity. What is the good? And I can't remember, but I liked it.
Yeah, the good, the beautiful, and the truth. I think he said. And again, I have good and beautiful are judgments and measurements, and so it's really difficult to like. It's so hard. To, like this is why I like the Tao and how it starts with words are particular. They cannot express the Tao. When you give up trying to express things and trying to be right, you really kind of open yourself up to being like, oh, I get what you're saying. I can hold on to that.
There are those moments when you're with people and you're talking about something and you do kind of feel like there's a third thing there, like a truth that you both are thinking about or wanting to get to, or well, I just enjoy thinking. So, when you're intersecting with people and talking about ideas, it's always interesting.
Yeah, it's good. And actually agreeing with words and stuff is great. But if we get caught up in doing that, then we might think that I need to be understood because that feels good. And then it's like, oh, wait, no, it doesn't, it's okay. Because even if I feel like you understand me, you only understand me to such a degree because I'm having my experience, you're having yours. We're going to end up in the same place.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Shelley.
Thank you. See you next time.
Bye-bye. Okay. Well, we're going to wrap up there. Thank you so much. Tamara seemed like she was lost at some point, and I just wanted to let anybody know if you get lost, you please send me a message. I'd always love to chat and be able to either try and explain, because sometimes, like we were saying with Shelley, you can't explain. There are no words to explain it. Sometimes being lost is just the experience we need to have. And if we can be lost, and we can allow ourselves to be lost, then we might find out where we are. It's like, even in the Tao, it says, it's not about knowing where you are. I always say, like, if you know where you are, you're already leaving that place. So, but I don't know to what extent that was happening. But know that that's never my intention to get people to feel lost or to feel any of that. Although with the topic that we talk about, even thinking about the first Tao It's saying that words are particular; they cannot express Tao. Thinking about that, it's like, yeah, sometimes we're going to feel lost, and if I emphasize that in your world, my apologies, but I'd always be here to support you in feeling that way. So if you ever wanted to come up and ask something, I'd be happy to address it, or you can set up a free 30-minute consult with me on my website, and we can address that as well. If you are interested in other work that I do, you can check out the links in my profile here on Noom Vibe. I'd always love to connect, and until next time, keep recovering yourself.